The left has a huge, supermassive black hole chunk of the population missing from its ranks. Men. And it's not hard to see why. I don't know if you've noticed this lately, but the left does not understand men, probably because for so long now, they've been telling us how evil we are. What's interesting about the left is that over the course of time, they've so villainized men that they've completely forgotten how to talk to them. They know nothing about us. They've been describing us as these mustache-twisting villains who just wait around every corner ready to essay any woman who comes across our path. They refer to our very essence, our masculinity, as toxic and tell us that we should actually behave more like women. One of the best quotes I've ever seen about how mainstream society views men comes from Christina Hoff Sommers, who kind of nails it with this.
Psychologist Michael Thompson has aptly observed, girls' behavior is the gold standard in schools. Boys are treated like defective girls.
And this is kind of how they see the solution to the toxic masculinity problem. Just make us more like women. Make us more feminine. And you can kind of see this how they talk about men whenever they're in front of cameras. Check out these clips from CNN and MSNBC as they try to describe why there's not a lot of masculinity at the DNC.
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy.
I mean, what's really been fascinating is to watch the men of the Democratic Party model a kind of masculinity that is simply 21st century masculinity.
They're trying to praise what they consider a new masculinity, where, boys are more like girls. This has been what they've wanted for years and years and years, so it's no wonder that they've actually lost the plot when it comes to men. And men have definitely noticed, and we've drifted away, including Gen Z men, which are largely trending conservative. And yet, despite knowing that it's a huge problem, they cannot stop themselves from hating men. They can't even stop themselves from hating men while they're trying to convince us to join them. This brings me to the real subject of this video, white dudes for Harris. This ridiculous group of I don't even want to call them men, probably came up with one of the worst attempts at attracting men back into the Democrat Party I've ever seen. For those of you who have been completely and blessedly free of knowing anything about this group, they appeared once Kamala Harris announced that she was running for president after, they Game of Thrones to Joe Biden. Joe, if you're invited to any weddings, don't go. But white dudes for Harris decided to make an ad that might be one of the laziest and out-of-touch attempts to attract men to anything that I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, and it's really no wonder. If you actually look at who makes up this group, you'll notice that it is the most anti-masculine group of men that you could possibly gather, including one man, an actor, who decided to tell everyone that when Trump was elected the first time, he wept over his children.
I'm not sure if you guys can recall that feeling you had on the night of Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. I stood over my kid's bed and I wept. I wept because they had the chance, and we had the chance, to have a female president for the first time.
Now, it's pretty clear that the group popped up because the left can't really think to approach anyone without first appealing to their identity.
If we create a group of white dudes who like Harris, then white men will be attracted because it's a group for people who are white and male.
Hey, what if we created ads that appeal to men instead of just their identity? Include masculine themes of protecting the nation, fighting back against entropy, and creating wealth and prosperity for our families through work and perseverance. No, instead what we got was this ad from white dudes from Harris, and we're just going to go ahead and break this down.
And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul.
Hey, white dudes, so...
Okay, right off the bat, the voice. They put a guy on with a light Brooklyn accent and just expect us to believe that it's just a bunch of masculine guys just hanging out together, talking about the politics. Bada bing! Hey! Yeah, me and the boys, we're gonna get together, we're gonna pop open the hood of my car and stare at it while we drink beer, and then vote for a socialist whose greatest accomplishment is failing upwards by going down.
No, stop! What are you doing? What are you doing?
I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are.
See what I'm saying here? Even when they're trying to attract us, they can't stop themselves from hating us. Yeah, you're probably sick and tired of hearing that white men are the problem, and you know what? You are, you piece of shit. Oh, but not if you vote for Kamala Harris. You'll be one of the good white men that we end up hating regardless. Can you imagine how this would go down if they were like, hey, black guys, you want us to stop being racist towards you? Then vote for us and maybe we'll be a little nicer. I mean, probably not, but it's worth a shot, right?
Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse, shouting nonsense in their stupid red hats and acting like they speak for us when they don't. All they've ever done is screw us over.
Bold strategy, Cotton. You're telling men, many of whom are Trump voters, that they've done nothing but screw everyone else over. This is like the weirdest form of negging I've ever seen. The rest of the ad is just Boston McTuff guy over here talking about how he's looked into it and, you know, that he likes Harris and Walz and that you should vote for them too because white guys should do that, I guess. My favorite, though, is this really cringe tough guy outro that they put at the end of this video.
End of the day, you're your own man. It's your call. But if anyone gives you crap about it, tell them it's none of their damn business.
That's actually the end of the ad. That's how they think that men just talk to each other. Hey, Jim, who you voting for? Hey, you know what, Tim? It's none of your damn business, bada bing! I do not know one man who is sold by this ad. In fact, if you go and you look at the responses to it, they are not nice. And I mean, they shouldn't be. The entire ad comes off as people who are trying to attract men while hating them at the same time. Essentially just trying to use us for our votes. It gives off a very vote for the snake and it'll eat you last vibe. Even the voice, I swear it's AI generated. Okay, now that we've seen a bad ad, let's take a look at what would be considered a good ad in terms of attracting masculinity. Now, this is a Trump ad, but I want to make it clear that I don't just like this ad because I'm going to vote for Trump and I'm on his team. It's because this is an objectively good ad that projects masculine energy.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
This ad doesn't mention men, it doesn't even mention sexes at all. It just talks to a person who wants to defend their nation and make it prosper. It's not trying to play into any identity politics, which is a horrible approach to begin with. It's just, you have enemies, let's defeat them together. What's cool is that this ad comes off as a general talking to his army. In fact, it literally begins with, "This is the final battle," which is, I mean, pretty awesome when you stop to think about it. Trump is making it clear that he is jumping into the fray and he wants you with him. You'll notice that Trump uses a lot of "we will" in his statements. We will drive out the globalists. We will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers. It goes on like this as the music builds and we get this "we will liberate America from these villains." Oh, and the visuals even get the blood pumping. But it's just simple. It's Trump walking in slow motion down a hallway, black and white. He's never not looking at the camera. It's like he's on a mission, and he wants you on that mission with him. It's a perfect masculine ad. It's a call to defend your homes and repel the enemies at the gates. It didn't need to pander to me. It didn't need to single out my identity. It didn't need a fake tough guy New York Broadway accent. And it was just really simple ingredients. A leader giving you an inspiring speech, some tense music, some intense visuals, and a goal to rally around. It couldn't scream masculinity more if you handed it a magic sword and had it charge into a line of orcs.
America! They're eating the cats.
If Democrats really want to attract men, first off, they need to get rid of the white dudes for hair. Like, completely disassociate from white dudes from Harris, because I feel like they're repelling more men than they're actually attracting at this point. But more than that, stop coming at men like we're monsters responsible for every problem under the sun. We're not. But this would require them to stop pretending that women are just nothing but victims, which they literally cannot stop doing at this point. Well, that's when they're not denying their existence entirely. And until the left learns how to value men and stop treating them like they're evil and actually has some modicum of respect for them, we're going to keep our distance. Y'all can have your white dudes for self-loathing. Bada bing! Later.